Fifth grade lesson 2.3 is division with two-digit divisors. We've been working division with that algorithm with a single-digit divisor, and now we're changing that into having, what if we have a two-digit divisor? They're going to start by modeling this with tiles, with like our number cubes. This understanding of this is just kind of giving our brains a chance to see what's happening and why. Also, though, this will help kind of get your brains a little more familiar for how to lay out algebra tiles later that will help you with algebra concepts when you're in the upper grades. So understanding what they're doing with this is a little bit of a bridge to that as well. Our essential question is, how can you use base 10 blocks to model and understand division of a whole number? And just real quick base 10 block review, that flat is worth 100, a rod is worth 10, and a unit cube is worth 1. So there are 156 students in the Carville Middle School chorus. The music director wants the students to stand with 12 students in each row for the next concert. How many rows will there be? So let's highlight the important information. There's 156 students, and they want them split equally into 12 rows. And of course, your brain by now knows that's a division problem in which you would usually say, oh, I'm taking 156 and dividing by 12. And probably you could figure out how to go about that. This double-digit divisor is new or somewhat new, but you could probably figure out how to go about that. Before we get to that stage, though, we're going to model it with base 10 blocks. Again, this is going to help you with your understanding of algebra tiles later and factoring, how to use that for factoring. So let's use this opportunity to get familiar with this to help us with that later as well. We would use base 10 blocks to model the dividend of 156. So we'd have 100, and then we'd have 5 rods, and then we'd have 6 ones for 156. They want us to place 2 tens below the 100 to form a rectangle. The reason we're doing that is because we're dividing by 12, right? So I'm just going to draw this out. We have our 100 flat for our 100. And then we have 10, 20. That's 120. The reason we have 100 here is it's 10 on this side, and then another one, and then another one. So that's going to be a total of 12, and that's why we've lined it up that way. Okay, now our goal is to make this rectangle out of what's left. So this is why you see they have the 100 block and the 2 ones. Now out of what's left, we want to try as close as possible to make a rectangle. So we put one of the rods here. So we have taken care of that. We've taken care of those. Now we have one. See, all of these put together were 150, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is what this is. So we're just trying to use all these up, but form a rectangle in doing so. That is a length of 12. Hopefully I explained that better the second time. So we have 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and I need this rectangle, so 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, and there is my 156 set up in a 12 by how much across? This is 10 with 1, 2, 3 more. So 156 divided by 12 is 13. So after doing all of that, the final rectangle, this kind of just walks us through what I did over here. The final rectangle shows 13 groups of 12. So there will be 13 rows of 12 students. Why do we still need to make groups of 12 after step B? So they're saying after A, when we split these into groups of 12, why did we continue making these groups of 12? Because we're trying to keep that a rectangle because we need what number times 12. So what number times 12 is going to give me 156. So that's why we kept making groups of 12. We're dividing by 12. So I guess we can write that as because we are dividing by 12. And finally, they ask, how can you use base 10 blocks to find the quotient of 176 divided by 16? I need, for this part here, to be 16, but first I need 176 of my base 10 blocks. So I'm going to mark just so that we can see the 176 of them. I would get a 100, then a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going to place those in a row of 16. So there's 100, so which is 10 on one side, right? 10, then 11, 12, 13, 14, I ran out of room, 15, 16. So I had that 100, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I want to take the rest of these and make a rectangle out of it. So I'll do 10 right here. And then I have these 6 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This was the 16 over here. And then it's 10 plus one more, 11 right there. So I can make a row of 16 and complete the rectangle. 16 times 11 is what got us there to 176. Okay, and so now they're saying now that we've familiarized ourselves with the rods, now we'll use these drawings to do it in case we don't have rods. So the two sets of groups of 12 that you found in the investigate are partial quotients. First you found 10 groups of 12, and then you found 3 more groups of 12. Sometimes you might need to regroup before you can show a partial quotient. You can use a quick picture to record the partial products. For example, if I'm dividing 180 divided by 15, I can use my base 10 blocks and model the dividend 180 as 108 tens. 100 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens. We'll model the first partial quotient by making a rectangle with the hundreds and the 5 tens. So they say, let me just do that first. And our reason for doing that would be, well, I know 150 divided by 15, now you just got the 0 in the end, that's going to be 10. So I have the 10 by 15 here. Okay, so let's just take those last 3 tens now and then complete the rectangle that way. So let me just redraw this. We have the 100, so we decided instead of kind of doing it the other way, we're going to split it this way. We have the 15. Now I have these 3 that I'm going to make a rectangle because this is currently 10 by 15, 150, right? So now I'm going to lay my 10 across there and then a 10 across here. That's 2 of them, that one and that one. But I need to go all the way to make that rectangle complete, and I'll just have a rod and I can't really break it in half. Well, I guess I could, but how much would be in each one if I did that, I suppose. It's sort of like carryover, right? I'm going to go ahead and, or not carryover, but regroup. I'm going to go ahead and break that rod into its 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little bitty pieces, and then I can place them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm regrouping this one into the ones units so that I can kind of split it apart. Now I can see, oh, okay, for those last 30 that were left, if I place them here, it completes my rectangle. So I now have 12 times 15 that gets me there. So the rectangle showed 10 groups of 15, which we know is 150. Additional groups of 15 cannot be made without regrouping. That's what we had to do here. Split this into its individual units. Regroup 1 tens as 10 ones. In the records section, cross out the regrouped 10. And there are now 5, 6, 7 tens and 10 ones. Decide how many additional groups of 15 can be made with the remaining 10s and 1s. We actually did that here. We kind of did this step all up here. Looks like a flag. There are now 12 groups of 15. So 180 divided by 15 is 12, because 12 times 15 is 180. All right, let's practice a few. We have 143 divided by 13. Here is 100, and then 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 1, 2, 3. And they already put it into our system for us, or our array. we have the 100, and then the 10, 20, 30, they wanted 13 down because we're dividing by 13. Then we took the other rod to fill out the rectangle, 1, 2, 3. So this is 10 plus 1 is 11. So 143 divided by 13 is 11 because 13 times 11 is 143. And this will become easy with a little bit of practice. Let's go ahead and do the share and show, which means you can pause when you feel like you're ready to try it without me. We have 168 and we're dividing it into 12 pieces. So I'm going to take my 100s block, or flat I should say, that's 10, and then one of the 10s rod and another 10s rod, because now that is giving me 10, 11, 12. And I needed it divided by 12. Oopsie. I needed it divided by 12 because that. So I have used 2 out of my 6 rods. Now I'm going to take the rest over here. There is 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I will place my 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, that completed my rectangle. If it didn't, if I had some things off, I would just have to rework things a little bit and see what I needed to break apart. But this worked. How much across was that? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 across. So 12 times 14 equals 168. That means 168 divided by 12 equals 14. Hopefully each time we do this, it starts to make more sense. I'm looking at 154, and I'm dividing it by 14. So I'm going to take my 100, which is a 10 by 10. That's a tough color to see. I'll go this color instead, 10 by 10. And I want 14 rows of it, so I'm going to take 5 of my 10 rods, and lay them down here so that I have on that whole side a total of 14. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now I only used 4 10 rods, so I have 1 more left, so I'll put it over here. And I have 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good, it completed my rectangle. How much across is it? 10 plus 1 is 11. So 14 times 11 gives me the rectangle of 154. So 154 divided by 14 is 11. If you're ready, go ahead and try and do that one, the next one without me. We're doing 187 divided by 11. All right, I'm going to start with my 10 flat, or my 100 flat, I should say, 10 by 10, 100 flat for this one. I want it in row of 11 on this side, so I'll do one of the 10s rods right here. So now I will have 7 10s rods. There's 1, so, well, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then this one that I had already put down here is the 8th one for 187, and then I have the 7 ones left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This was 11 on purpose. How many across is it? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 11 times 17 is 187, so 187 divided by 11 is 17. Okay, you might be feeling like you're ready to do these without me, and if so, go ahead. But I'll do a few more practice ones with you where you can pause and play to try them out. We have 165 divided by 11. I'm going to do that 100s block, which is 10 on each side, and then one of those 10 blocks here, because I want this side to be 11. 10 and one more is 11. That leaves me, if I took one 10s rod away, I have 5 10 rods left, so I'm going to, and I'll switch the color just so you can see, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 10 rods. I have 5 ones, 1, 2, my goal is to complete a perfect rectangle here, and it did. So how much across is it? That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to make that. This is saying that 11 times 15 is 165. So 165 divided by 11 is 15. Try this one. This is a little trickier because I have 2 100s here, so, or 2 100s flats here. And I don't need 2 100s. I don't need a side of 20. I'm going to have to break one of those up. So keep that in mind as you try this. All right, here I go with it. I'm going to take one of those hundreds blocks, a 10 by 10, and put it there because that's fine. I want a row of 18. I don't need that extra flat to be put together. So I'm pulling that apart. That's going to be 10 rods, right? If I pull that 100 block apart that I still have left, 10 of them plus this one. So I have a total of 11. I'm just going to put a note to the side, 11 rods. So I need 8 for the 18, 10, and then 8 more. So I'm going to take those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I took 8 away from that, so 9, 10, 11. There's 3 left. I'm going to do 1, 2, and I'm going to hold off on the third one because I think I'm going to need the ones pieces a little bit. So I have 1 10 rod left. Okay, let's break down the 6 now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to take that 1 10 rod, break it into the 1 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I wasn't sure that was going to land exactly perfect as a rectangle, and if it didn't, I'd have to pick them all up and try another configuration. But it worked and made a perfect rectangle. I have 18 on this side, and on this side I have the 10, 11, 12, which means 18 times 12 is 216, so 216 divided by 18 is 12. I hope I've made this made sense for you. You can go on to Think Central if it's making sense to you and you're ready to kick me to the curb. But if you're still feeling like you need me, I'm going to do 2 more with you. We have 196 divided by 14. I have the 100 flat. I want 14 on one side. So it's 100 flat is a 10 by 10. So there's 10 on one side. And then I need 4 more of those ones. So I'm taking out of those 9 rods, I'm taking 4 of them to get 14 on one side. I still have 5 of those rods left. So there's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold on to one of them. So I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I could use one more, 8. And the 9th one I'm going to set aside for a moment, if that's okay with you. I might need to break it apart. That's why I've set it aside. 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's break this one apart now into 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wasn't sure if we need to break that up or not, and that's why I set it aside and thought, I'll use that if I need it. I just saw a big gapping space of ones units I needed, and that's why I kind of thought, let me set this aside in case I need it later. And that worked. We have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 across. So 14 times 14 equals 196. So 196 divided by 14 is 14. Last one, if you still need me, we have 195 divided by 15. I'm going to take my 100 flat because that is a 10 by 10. I have 9 rods. I need to make a row of 15, so let's take 5 of those. That leaves me with 4 rods left. Note to self over here. And I'm going to put 3 of those rods. 1, 2, 3 rods. And then I'm going to set 1 rod aside, just in case I need to break it up again. This is 15 over here. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And do we have enough to complete this? I have 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have this rod that I didn't do anything with. Let's break it apart into 10 pieces now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good thing I saved that. 10, 11, 12, 13 on this side. So 15 times 13 equals 195. So 195 divided by 15 equals 13. That's all this lesson is doing, is helping that brain kind of manipulate things around. Also, like I said, a little bit of a bridge of knowledge to using algebra tiles later. That will come in handy also. I hope that made sense to you. I hope I did okay on that. Go get it.